What's really exciting for me to be able to do is come here today and talk to you about what it looks like going forward. What is Haskell 2025? Share with you the vision of your company that was collectively put together by a lot of people in this company. And it's about who we want to be and where we're going and how we want to live our values and what do we look like in 2025 as an organization. That's exciting to me, to think about putting out a vision and say, this is what we're going to look like in 2025. So we'll talk about that, what it is. We'll talk about some of the initiatives we're undertaking to accomplish those and some of the goals around it. And then actually some measurements that we're already, some accomplishments, some things we're already doing under those specific goals. All of this is under the umbrella of we create things that matter. That's Haskell's mantra or purpose, so to speak. 5 simple words. You know, I think our vision in the past had been 2 paragraphs. I couldn't even tell you what it was because it was so long and so complex. And it talked about what we did. We were a globally integrated designer of architecture, engineering, construction, and it gave you this long dissertation on what we did. And if you ask anybody what was it, I don't think anybody would really be able to recite it. So we talked a lot about, as a leadership team, for a long time about what is it we really, what is it? What is the vision? What is the purpose of Haskell? Why are we here? What is the purpose of Haskell? Am I roaming too much for you there, Stan, or am I right? Good. So we thought long and hard about it and reflected on it. And in one of the discussions, and we were doing this off-site somewhere, it just came about to say what we're really here to do, what we really want everybody to do is just think about creating things that matter, right? We all want a purpose. We want to be able to contribute something, so we want to create something that matters. Okay? So before we get into a little bit more about the strategy, I'm going to share with you a video. I tell you a little bit about 2018. I could spend the next 30 minutes telling you about 2018, but our outstanding corporate marketing department, Elizabeth and Krista Lee and others, put together this fantastic video that I think will be a good setup for where we're going forward, and it's really a recap on 2018. we follow those strategic pillars and we do all the things we're talking about under the umbrella of living our core values day to day, then the opportunity on where this company can be and the legacy that we can leave is unlimited. So that gives you a little idea on a snapshot of 2018. Let me talk about where we're going and what it looks like. And let's have a conversation about that. I'm not going to stand up here and just tell you everything I want to hear from you. And maybe we could engage in some discussion around it. Again, Haskell 2025, our strategy going forward is under the umbrella of six important pillars. I'm going to touch on each one and then give you some progress on them. And the first pillar is provide the best job of our lives. You can go back. And there's a reason why that's the first pillar, because it's the most important pillar that we have, right? It's about creating careers that matter. We create things that matter, creating careers that matter, about attracting and developing and investing in the top talent in our industry, right? Providing personal and professional growth for everybody sitting here, all of you that are new to the organization, be able to provide that, personal and professional growth, and to be able to make, at the end of the day, you say, Haskell was the best place that I ever worked. It's the best where I want to stay. It's the best place that I've ever worked. Drive operational excellence. You know, we are a company that is in the business of operations, and operational excellence is important. It's about creating results at the end of the day that matter. How do we create results? How do we create results that matter? How do we make sure that we're operationally efficient? How do we make sure that we are the safest company, best-in-class safest company in our industry? I'm going to show you that we're pretty close to that. But that is a top priority on our operational excellence, to be one of the safest companies in our industry, right? It's pretty important. It's value-based, right? It's really important that every single person that comes to work at Haskell every day goes home in the same condition that they came to work in. We owe it to them. That's part of who we are. It's about providing operationally excellence, about providing the best customer experiences we can, right? I think people have heard it till it's probably exhausting, but I say customer service is one thing. Anybody can provide service to a customer. Who provides the best-in-class experience? Is the customer at the end of the experience, whether it be a short consulting engagement or a 3-year project, does the customer say, Haskell was the best experience I ever had? That's the differentiator between service and experience. Growing program management, consulting, and design services. That's about broadening and deepening our portfolio, what we provide our customers. It's about gaining earlier access to our customers. If we're designing and consulting early on in the process, we're gaining earlier access to them, developing relationships, building capabilities, making them understand what we can provide, right? So it's really all about being able to catch the customer earlier in the process and show a deeper commitment to our customers by being able to provide a full array of services. Our design and consulting capabilities in this company today, your company today, has over 650 design professionals. Don't know whether you knew that or not, but that's a lot. That's a robust design organization that is spread all over the world, that shows you the depth of intellect that we have in this company that we need to be sharing with our customers. Optimizing intellectual capital, technology, and innovation. It's about creating ideas that matter. It's about deploying, as I said, deploying the intellect, deep intellect we have in this organization for our customers. You do that by creating a culture that's very rich in innovation and creativity. You foster that, right? It's about being able to understand, recognize, capture the best technologies in our industry and operationalize them. Not just to have them is one thing, but to be able to operationalize those technologies and what we do every day, make it more efficient for each and every one of us on what we do, make it a better solution for our customers every day. That's what we need to do. Find, deploy, and operationalize the best technologies that are available in our industry. Expand diversity, and that's about creating teams that matter. It's about having as inclusive a culture as we can. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And that's about deepening and broadening the thinking in our company, right? The more diverse and the broader we think as a company, the better ideas that we have at the end of the day, the better solutions we provide for our customers, and you can read any journal and look at any study, the more profitable companies are and the faster they grow, the broader and deeper that they think, the more inclusive they are, because people think differently. You think differently than I do. You think differently than she does. Everybody thinks differently. And achieving revenue and earnings in the top quartile of our peer companies. So those goals for Haskell 2025 is to have revenues to be a $2 billion a year organization with $100 million in operational earnings. Okay? That's 2 times what we do today. So people may say, wow, that seems pretty bold and aggressive, and it is, and it should be, because we are capable of doing that, and I am confident that we will. So the goal is out there to continue to grow the business and to be able to develop clients and develop people and develop opportunities for each and every one of us to be able to be part of something that is robust and has scale and has a lot of meaning. And our strengthen our leadership in our core markets: food and beverage, water, healthcare, federal government, and manufacturing. Those are our 5 core markets. There are other markets that we work in, and they're very, very important markets, and they'll continue to be. But these are our core markets that we work in. So it's about being a top provider in each one of those markets. It's about having divisions in those markets that have scale, 100+ million in revenue. Scale creates opportunity. It creates recognition in the marketplace, right? So it's to be able to strengthen and continue to grow those core markets. So that's the fundamental pillars of the Haskell strategy, our strategy, your strategy, all of our strategy going forward. Okay, so I talked a little bit about vision and purpose and these long statements that we've had in the past. I talked about what we do. And what I want to share with you is not what we do, because I'm certain that you've learned what we do. I want to talk about who we are. And that's different. I want to talk about who Haskell is. And I like to put it in these terms. Haskell has a rich legacy, right? Been around a long time, well recognized for doing quality and high level of service, hard-working, over 50 years, right? Having a vision and having each and every person aspiring for enduring success. That's just not trying to be successful. Enduring success. Enduring success is a different term. It's subtle, but it's powerful. That means enduring is consistent. It's predictable. It's something that you can embrace and say, we're going to have enduring and continued success in this organization. Key reason for that is living the core values of this company. Everything that we do in this company must be founded in our core values of team, excellence, service, and trust. If we do everything and we live by those core values, all of those pillars will be obtainable, right? We'll work hard for them, we'll strategize for them, and we'll plug away at it. So if we do it under the premise that we live our core values every day, we work hard at all of those key pillars, I'm certain that we'll all be saying at some point, that was the best job of my life. It goes back to the first pillar and the most important one at the end of the day. Okay? Some of our major initiatives going on, and I'm sure you've heard about some of this. I assume, AJ, some of this has been discussed, so I won't go into a lot of detail, but some of the key initiatives that support Haskell 2025 and where we're going. Workforce planning strategy well underway. I see Mike's in here, and so there's a team that's dedicated, that we took out of their day-to-day jobs that they were doing extremely effectively and putting them in something that is extremely important. We don't get to where we want to get if we don't have a real robust workforce plan strategy that's thoughtful, that's executed well, that is finding and attracting the best and top talent in our industry. Grow Disrupt Tech. I talked about the importance of technology and innovation in our industry. And we've launched a new company, a Haskell company, but it's a new company that's dedicated to doing nothing but getting to know what is available in our industry. What are the best technologies? How do we adopt them? How do we operationalize them? Marketing and business development investment. I like to say that the lifeline of our business is new customers and repeat customers, and I call that filling the pipeline. So you have to have a certain amount of opportunities in a pipeline that can get converted to either a new project or a new customer. Where does that come from? A lot of that comes from the marketing and business development side of our business. We've deeply invested in it, and both in human capital and in softwares and all kinds of things to help push along and make sure we continue to have our pipeline filled. Investment in field operations. We're doing that now. We have a permanent craft employee program. We're deepening our investment in how well we operate in the field. The talent pool that we have in the field, the technologies that we apply in what we do every day. Think about it, we could do so many things so well. We could provide a consulting engagement, we could design it extremely well, we could manage the customer well, we could support it from human resources and accounting, we could do all of that, and we could fail when we deliver the facility in the field. And all of that was for what, right? So the importance of field operations, re-energizing Haskell, who's known as a high-quality builder, and continues to be, to continue to invest in our field operations is important. Measured acquisition strategy. We have made acquisitions over the past 10 years. We've made 4 substantial acquisitions that have been for the betterment of this company. It's made us better engineers. It's made us better contractors. It's made us better consultants. I'm sure you've gone through what a lot of those acquisitions are, but measured acquisitions for this company will continue. We won't do them just to do them, but we'll do them thoughtfully, and we'll do them strategically, and we'll do it where it makes sense to add value to the organization, which in turn means adding value to our customers. If there's something that we can do, that we can add, that we don't have today, and the best way to do it is by acquisition, to better service our customers, that's what we will do. And Western U.S. and international expansion, we have a strong global presence with our operations in Latin America, our operations in Asia. We do work in Canada, and I think that needs to continue to grow. That needs to be 20% of our business fairly consistently. It's approaching that. It's not quite there yet, but it needs to consistently be about 20% of our business. That seems like a good, strong, solid number for us to be at. In Western U.S., we have offices in San Diego. We have office in Livermore. We are now in Salt Lake City. And we need to continue to grow the western region of the U.S. It's too big, just the state of California by itself. Although it's not the easiest place to get things done, but it's a place we need to be, okay? And Haskell's history in the past has been to go do projects on the western part of the United States and then tend to come back and wait for the next one to come. And there's been years that we've had more work in California than we've had in any other state. There's been years that we have done that. So I think a deeper commitment, a deeper commitment to developing work in the western part of the United States is extremely important. So I'm going to pause there. So I've thrown out so much, I know. Any questions so far? Yes, ma'am.
What about Colorado? The same thought going west.
We've looked at it. It's certainly a possibility. It's most of the time we don't pick it just based on location. It's a lot of times it starts with a kind of a customer focus. For example, we opened up Salt Lake City. We're doing multiple temples for the Mormon Church, right? So they wanted a deeper presence of Haskell to where, at their headquarter location. Open up an office there, so we service the Latter-day Saints out of the Salt Lake City office, but we're also doing lots of other things. So a lot of it is just not let's pick a spot. It's trying to figure out where, it's more driven around our customers and what our customer base is and how we can drive business that way. We wouldn't typically go into, let's say, open up an office in Denver and then say we're a Denver contractor and try to get all kinds of work in the Denver area.
I thought it was more along the lines of there's a strong economy in Colorado.
Sure. sure, sure. But you know, that's never out of the equation. You know, it's important to be measured on and thoughtful on where we open offices and how we go about it. It's not an inexpensive venture to do. It takes human capital. It takes dollars to do that. But no, but I appreciate that thought. Others?
You mentioned Canada. I didn't hear. You said we already have an office there.
We do not. We do not. We can service it from here. We do work, so we're actively doing work in Canada. But we have an office in St. Paul. We have an office in Beloit, Wisconsin. So we're pretty close in a lot of ways. No need under the current environment to open a Canadian office, because it's a pretty easy access to be able to. For example, it would be very difficult to be a contractor in Latin America if you did not have a stronghold office in Latin America. But Canada, you can do that. Somebody else had a hand up.
You touched on briefly the measured acquisition strategy. And obviously there's been a bunch of acquisitions recently. A lot of us are part of that.
Yeah.
My question is, what could you share with us as far as what's in the scope for the future?
As far as what kind of opportunities it would be?
Yeah, what kind of we're now in healthcare, we touched a lot of things. What's next?
Great question. Well, there's a whole lot of things, and what it'll end up being, I can't tell you, because a lot of it depends on the opportunity. I think strengthening our water business, there's opportunity around that. We have no design capabilities around the water side. I think, although we haven't done this in the past, we've made it a play on expanding our capabilities. The acquisitions we've made have all been expanding capabilities. It doesn't mean we can't think about making one for geographic purposes. Back to my West Coast discussion and/or international. I think that's an opportunity as well. And there's a few others, but it'll be something that'll be certainly additive in either our capabilities and/or our geographic location. So more to follow. But we're in a good spot right now. We've made some really great acquisitions. I know a lot of you are part of that. They've all are panning out great. It takes time to get through it and integrate it, and I know all that, and that's a challenge. But I would do each and every one of them again without even giving it a second thought, because it's been so productive and so additive to our, not only our business, but to our people and to our talent pool. It's been remarkable.
So you've heard the quote, "A best defense is a good offense," and so it seems like market indicators right now say there's probably going to be a broad market downturn. What is your sense of the recession proofing, which a lot of this may be, but what's your sense?
Great question.
Of the market?
Great question. That's a really good question, and it's actually something I think about a lot, and that's what I need to be doing. Nobody can predict, and I'm not an economist, and I don't even think economists predict it very well at the end of the day. But from my perspective, I think, we will see some level of slowing at some point. I don't see it immediate. I don't see it in our business today. I spent a lot of time with peers in our industry, other CEOs and outside our industry, and I think it's similar feelings, but there'll be some level of pullback at some point, 2020, 2021. Great question would be, well, what do we do as a company to prepare for that? And that's a fair question. Well, the things to do are very simple. It's get it while the getting's good and have the backlog in place. Backlog, meaning work under contract, carries you through those things, right? So it's making sure that we sustain and build backlog in the organization, right? That we continue to pay attention to our overhead structure, make sure that we're being as efficient as we possibly can, right? Things like that, and not be afraid of it. I mean, we've weathered them before, There's no concern whether this company can weather some kind of pullback in the economy. I don't think it'll be anything significant, but boy, if you could predict it, I'd love to hear it. Anybody else? I certainly can't, but I certainly pay a lot of attention to it and talk a lot about it with a lot of people that do the same thing that I do. Let me keep going, and then I'll hit some questions because I want to. How much time do I have, AJ? 5 minutes? Yeah, you guys better get comfortable. No, let me just tell you. Let me go back to. I'm sorry, that was my fault saying go back. Back to the pillars and just highlight on some of the things that we're doing. Right. So we started this. We rolled this out in September, October. So we've been at it for four or 5 months. And let me just give you some highlights on, because everybody says, well, that's all good, and I don't, but what is it? What does that mean? Show me something, right? That's what I would think. Provide best job of your life. We've added 350 new team members to this company in the last 12 months. Think about that. Right? We're 1,600 employees roughly. Dave, is that right? Added 351 new team members. Turnover rate in this organization is about as low in the industry as you can get. I hope that that's because it's an attractive place to be. And once you get here, it feels like family, and it feels like you're part of something, and you're creating something that matters, back to what we talked about, right? Strong 2018 performance, ranked top 125 in learning and development for 7th year in a row, right? It's a national ranking that comes out. That's phenomenal. I mean, that's top 125, right? That is not peer companies in our industry. That's all industries. So we have the likes of, give me a few names, Dave, AJ, that are in it.
AT&T, Verizon.
Yeah.
Hospital systems, you name it.
Yeah, and Haskell. How cool is that, right? So in the top 125, and I talked about deploying the robust workforce plan strategy that Dave and Mike are so diligently working and doing so well with. So just a few things that we're doing. Working on. There's others, but this is just to highlight a few of them. Driving operational excellence. I talked about safety being top priority in this organization, how important it is just from a value-based system, value-based culture that we have, that everybody goes home the same way they came to work, right? So safety record at 0.36, that's a recordable incident rate. It's an industry term that is used, which is significantly better than the industry average, okay? Okay, that's all well and good. It still means at a 0.36, somebody got hurt, and that's not good enough, right? We need to have nobody get hurt. We've invested in systems, in estimating systems and Procore. We've launched Safe Matters, which is the orientation video when you go to a project site. We rolled out a field focus campaign. I talked a lot about how we're investing in field operations, both in talent and technology and the way we do things, right? And we opened up some new office locations. I mentioned Salt Lake City, and we have an office in the Philippines outside of Manila right now, and that's new with a lot of the work that we're doing over there for the Latter-day Saints. Okay, Growth Program Management Consulting and Design Services, HR Gray, our program management services up in Columbus, Ohio, and in Akron. We expanded into Pittsburgh and Cleveland. We launched Catalyst, which is the consulting arm of our healthcare practice, new website. We've expanded business development resources, not only in design, but across the organization. We're deeper in the federal market, and we have expanded our design capabilities in APAC, which is Asia. So we have 40 extremely capable, powerful engineering people in KL, in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia, as we speak today. As you're sleeping, they're working. Okay? Optimize intellectual capital, technology, and innovation. We launched Disrupt Tech. I'm sure you guys have talked a bit about it, but that's a lot going on with Disrupt Tech. We opened up our Atlanta R&D Center and commissioned it, and that gives right there in our office in Atlanta. That gives customers an opportunity to come test equipment, look at some packaging lines. whatever they want to do and innovate and think about. It's an true R&D center. We have partnerships with Georgia Tech and McKinsey Corporation. We've invested in brick and mortar. I talked about being on the front end of this technology drive in our industry and how important it is for the Haskell Company to be on the leading edge of driving innovation and technology in our industry. Our industry as a whole has fallen behind the rest of other industries on how we drive technology. If you walk on a job site today, it might not look much different than it did 15 or 20 years ago, right? So being able to be on the leading edge of driving technology is very important. And this is a group that's out of San Francisco, and they're on the very cutting edge of the most innovative startups coming out with technologies that drive our business, and we're there. We're part of it. We're part of this fund that's invested in those kinds of those companies. That's going to bring so much to this company that I talked about driving innovation and technology. Okay? Expand diversity. So we appointed a new board of director, fourth quarter of last year. Andrea and Sarah. I was up in Washington, D.C. with her just last week. She's phenomenal, unbelievable. Works for a very, very large consulting firm and has been involved in large federal programs and healthcare programs and led diversity programs, and she's going to be a tremendous asset to our board of directors. HWN, our Haskell Women's Network, that's been active for a while. I was with them just yesterday for quite a bit. International Women's Day Forum coming. There's network opportunities going on. We've implemented a sponsorship and protege program that is well underway, and we've expanded Inclusion Matters workshops. And achieve revenues and earnings among top quartile of companies. So you saw in the video we broke through the $1 billion in sales. First time in company history that we have sales over $1 billion. That's phenomenal. That takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of hard work by a lot of people doing a lot of things really, really well to be able to achieve that. $963 million in revenue, so I like to round up and say it's a $1 billion a year organization, and it certainly is. Contribution, and that's operational earnings of $42 million, and backlog. I talked about filling the pipeline, having backlog in the event that the economy doesn't stay as strong as it is. That is record backlog for us as a company, $964 million. Of that and so that backlog, what that means, that revenue backlog is work we have under contract, right? Yet to be built, work we have under contract, yet to be designed, whatever it may be. We have $964 million. 175, roughly, of that goes into 2020. What a great place to be, sitting here in 2019, knowing you already have 175 million of backlog going into the following year. Okay. Talked about our core markets, food and beverage. We really are top in the industry in the food and beverage market. Certainly our largest division and largest contributor. Water, we've been in the public space mostly for a long time. We've paralleled that with a private market attack in the industry to be able to do both municipal and private work on the water side. Healthcare, we're continuing to grow, and we've made some organizational changes and enhancements in business development side of the healthcare business. We have new leadership in federal, and we lead manufacturing, aviation, aerospace. We have a great account with Blue Origin that we're working on down at Merritt Island. I'm trying to put people into space, but the point is that we're doing things, and we're driving the business, and we're doing things to help grow our markets and strengthen our position in each one of these markets. The other thing I didn't mention is, and it was mentioned in the video, but the value of our Haskell Steel Fabrication Shop. And if anybody hasn't been out there, is that part of it?
Yes.
Been out there yet?
They haven't been out there. They got
Need to go to that. It's phenomenal. It is a fantastic operation. I just have so much pride when I walk through it. 10 years without hurting anybody. 10 years. That's some pretty high hazard work you got a bunch of people doing. That's high hazard work. That takes discipline, that takes organization, that takes a lot. And it contributes a good amount of financials to the organization, and it's just well run. So I encourage you to go to the steel fabrication shop. Okay? So you may say, okay, so why all this? Why all this? Well, first of all, it's important to set a vision and set a goal and set where the organization needs to be. Okay? And we're doing that. Why these pillars? It's about creating passion and excitement about the business. Hopefully, after this year, a little bit more, have better understanding, a little bit more passion and excited about your company, where your company's going, what it's doing. Create an environment. I talked about it, collaboration and teamwork and innovation and creativity. That's the kind of organization that we are, right? There are a lot of smart people in this business, a lot of really high intellect people that work for the Haskell Company. And to be able to provide that opportunity for ideas and concepts to be able to flourish and grow is really important. And again, I keep going back to, our lifeline is about our customers, right? We're in the service business. That's all we are. We happen to do other things, but we are in the business of servicing our customers. And when we service our customers, we need to think about every day, on that particular day, am I giving that customer the best experience I can possibly give them? Is it different than somebody else would have given them? That I do something just a little bit more to say, for the customer to say, that was a better experience than somebody else provided me, right? Right? And it's about all of us being able to think about our legacy. What do we want our legacy as a company to be? Right? How do we want to be talked about? How do we want to be remembered as an organization as we all work through our careers? It's about what we want to leave a legacy. We want to leave a legacy of greatness. That's what we want. That's what I want. That's what I want for all of you.